Great. So hello everyone, I'm Pratyush and I'm currently working on the mobile wallet project and my mentor is Rajan Maurya. So Aditya has already covered a bit about the project and this is my part. And so this is the high level overview of my major contributions. So the first step that we did was way before GSOC was to convert our architecture from clean architecture with MVP to clean architecture with MVVM. Mainly because down the line, we aimed to improve the unit testing aspect of our project. And as such, MVVM will be a better choice for that. Moreover, we have migrated our project to Compose. And we have also migrated our project to a multi-modular project, which has its own benefits. And also down the line, we have cleaned up and refactored a lot of code during the past 1.5, 2 months or so. And yes, migration of code base from Java to Kotlin was another major aspect that we did way before GSOC. So moving on, the first step that we did was MVP to MVVM migration. So while doing so, we ensure that we follow proper guidelines with repository, MVVM structuring, and also clean architecture. And all the way, we followed solid principles, because that's what proper software engineers should do. They should follow all these solid principles, which is very important. Right. So moving on, migration to Compose was a huge undertaking for this year's GSOC, since we had to migrate our entire project end to end to Compose, like purely in Compose. We had to get rid of entire XML. And so it took a huge chunk of our time since we had to migrate everything, right down from dialog box to the screens to navigation, everything to Compose. So now since our project is in Kotlin, pure Kotlin, it will have its own benefits with Compose multi-platform that I'll discuss down the line. So yeah, with Compose, we have simplified UI development with a single code base for Android, desktop, and web applications. So we don't have to think about Swift UI now. We can just share this Compose UI with our iOS code base, which we tend to do in the future. So we have this design system module that we have in our project, so which we can use to plug and play the UI components currently, and also in the future, let's say if the UI changes. So that's an advantage of modularization. So this multi-modular approach, we have broken down our project into 4 high-level modules, namely build logic, core, feature, and Mifos Pay, which is the app module. So the core module contains several different modules related to network, UI, analytics, and a lot of other modules. So these are basically centered towards the network layers and the UI layers of the app. So feature module, as the name suggests, contains all of the features that are entailed in our wallet project, which includes screens, settings, request a pay feature, send payment feature, among different features. And Mifos module is just an app level logic, which contains a navigation host and the app state. So the advantages of this multi-modular approach was that now, let's say in the future, we have to change the network layer from retrofit to KTOR because across platform application supports KTOR, doesn't support retrofit. So for that, we'll just have to change the network module. So this has made our job really easy and also very sophisticated to do so. And that was one of the major advantage of a multi-modular approach. And also it enhanced code organization, improved the build time of our project, which used to take a lot of time earlier. And also it promotes reusability and maintainability of the code. So we recently did a lot of cleanup and code refactoring for our project. So when we broke down our project into modules, we decided to move from a package-based approach to a modular-based approach. So there were a lot of packages that have now been translated into their respective modules. And so that's one cleanup that we did. And we also refactored the existing navigation in the mobile app to navigation compose. So now our app uses Jetpack Compose throughout end to end. And so this was some of the code refactoring and project cleanup that we did, that we have done until now. So yeah, Java to Kotlin. So before I started working on this project, it was mostly in Java. I would say I think it was 80% in Java and 20% Kotlin. So for our future aspirations, we had to the first step was to convert our entire code base to Kotlin language. And so that's what we did. The first step, we converted our entire code base to Kotlin. Then which allowed us to integrate Jetpack Compose, and now it will allow us to move to a Compose multi-platform so that we can share the same Kotlin code base among different platforms such as iOS, web, etc. So yeah, these are some of the screenshots of our app currently. So the first one is the home page that you are seeing right now. So it will show you all the recent transactions and it will allow you to request and send payments, and also will show you the available balance. Second screen is a payment screen that will allow you to send money via a virtual payment address or via a mobile number. The third screen is the history screen. So that will show you all the debit and credit history of the user. Then we have this request screen, which allows the user to scan your QR code and then send you money directly to your bank. And then you can link bank accounts, which is shown here in this fifth screen. And then we have this little FAQ section, which is currently hard coded, but maybe down the line, the backend can help us in sending some of the responses directly from the backend, which we will display over here. So yeah, these are some of the screenshots of the app currently. And obviously we tend to add more functionalities in the future. So the challenges faced in Concord, yes. So as a developer, I learned how we can change the architecture layer of the app. Let's say in our case from MVP to MVVM, how we can migrate an application to Compose, how to work in a collaborative manner, what the advantages of open source community, and many other things. Since in this year's GSOC, I'm also working as a full-time professional in a company. I had to manage this project with my personal life, and so that was something that I have learned a lot, and yeah, that helped me a lot. So what's next, right? So the huge undertaking and the next step is Compose multi-platform. So right now we don't have any concrete resources available across the internet. So that is something that will have to do from scratch. So and migrating a project from a native Android app to a cross-platform, you don't have a lot of resources. So that is something we'll have to look into, and we'll have to work our way around that. And hopefully, in the next week or so, we'll have to integrate the basic implementation of Compose multi-platform. So as I mentioned, we'll have to change the network layer from retrofit to KTOR, because KTOR is supported by Compose multi-platform and retrofit isn't. So we'll have to change the entire network layer. So we'll do that once we have integrated Compose multi-platform. Then after all of these huge tasks, we'll move with unit and UI testing. We have already laid the groundwork for UI testing, so it shouldn't take long. But yeah, we'll have to again work for unit testing. Then we need to improve the current CI/CD, which will so that we can also add the unit test in that CI/CD, and also the CI/CD should be structured enough to deploy our app directly to the Play Store without our manual intervention. And also down the line, we may have to revamp the app UI. So friend of Rajan is currently working on the UI part of the app. So once we have the UI, we'll start revamping the app UI simultaneously. So yeah, that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pratyush. It was a really nice complimentary presentation to that of Aditya. Looking forward to the continued efforts, and hopefully we'll soon have more clarity around use cases too, so we can work on some functional enhancements to the wallet too.